link is...
I didn't do that.
That's so weird.
Cell!
Cell's drunk. Is Cell drunk?
Cell's drunk. I seriously did not touch that at all.
Alright, I fixed it.
How'd you do? Okay, you just pasted it in there.
Well, the text was gone. The link itself was
I see
still
Cell.
there.
Cell, I see your cursor. I see you. I see you. You're caught red cursored. Caught red-handed right there. What are you doing with our links, buddy?
Yeah, I'm gonna tweet out. Hey everyone, welcome to Kyle's half of Awesome Hardware.
Hey, welcome. This is episode 167, side B. If you missed side A, it's on Paul's channel. You can check the link in my description or go to youtube.com/Paul's
tweet as you.
Hardware. No, stop doing things as me.
Kyle used my laptop last week.
I can't
do anything because he logged into all of his accounts. All I can do is tweet from him.
Just be yourself, Paul. Stop trying to be me. Oh, Cell said, I don't know. It's posting shit in other places.
This is weird.
What's it? Google?
Google
Google's
Docs
just got a mind
Google
of its
Docs
own.
Is drunk.
Shit. Go home, Google. All right. So,
Speaking
welcome.
of shit, on Awesome Hardware, occasionally we drink beer and use foul language.
You're right. Yeah.
If you're sensitive to that, then you should.
We just transitioned.
Else.
We transitioned into my half so seamlessly. I forgot we have to like start over in a
did.
sense. So yes, adult language.
Trying to keep on top.
Beer. Hey, buy stuff from our stores.
Sums it up. Oh yeah, stores.
My store is bitwit.tech/store, or you can just go to bitwit.tech. That's easier. I've got things there. And by the way, anyone who purchased something on Paul's half will get a Johnson shout out during the after party, so stay tuned for that. Also, anyone who donated, we'll read your messages soon. And then, so yeah, desk mats, mouse pads, mugs, pint glasses,
it's all real nice.
Shirts. Go to Paul's store too, paulsharbor.net.
paulsharbor.net.
RGB everything.
RGB everything shirts
up
are
in the
back
house.
in stock.
He's also got lots of things. A lot of the same things that I do, but his designs.
But it's got my logo.
But it's got his logo and his designs,
logo.
And he's got his own Paul flair to it.
Collect them all.
We're gonna yell Johnson at you really loudly, like super loudly. Like no one's here at the office anymore, so we can be as loud as we want. We'll top the charts for you. And then, is there anything else we need to say here? I need more beer.
I don't think so.
I could use more beer.
You have the beer, I think.
You were correct. You need more beer too.
You're in charge of everything for this round.
I
was gonna tweet.
A terrible idea.
No, I can't tweet. I can't.
Why can't you just log out as me? Like, why do you have to stay logged in? In fact, I feel uncomfortable that you've chosen to keep me logged in on your laptop.
I can tweet stuff.
It's a little disconcerting, Paul, that I've been logged into this computer at your house for the last week.
My password isn't saved. I need to look it up. It's too much effort.
Oh, I see.
Fine.
Oh, I see. Keep your passwords all safe and dandy.
I can add the after party link to my video description though.
There you go. All right, so we've got some news to talk about. Why don't we dive right into it? First off, the Core i9 9900K has officially hit a world record blasting 7.6 gigahertz by the one and only Der Bauer. Of course, this is an article from Hexus. Thank you, Hexus.
That's not Der Bauer, by the way.
That is Splave.
Splave pores.
Splave pores.
I really like that.
I love the caption.
That's a great.
This is straightforward, no bullshit. So on October 12th, Intel was hosting their fall desktop launch event featuring the 9900K, and a bunch of exoseers, extreme overclockers, were trying to break a bunch of world records, including Mr. Der Bauer. Roman, he's a good guy. He's very, very knowledgeable about this stuff, and he was able to hit 7,613 megahertz on all cores with some liquid helium.
What the heck is this?
Liquid
what
helium.
Is this?
That's a DIMM expander.
I've not even seen this.
Whoa. That looks like a DIMM.2, like a DIMM.2 type thing, but for your RAM. Wait, what's the point of that? So you can, maybe so on a dual, what? I don't understand how that works. So if you only had two DIMM slots.
Did you watch the video, Kyle?
No, of course not.
Well, you're reporting on it.
Wait, so he's got, okay, so it's basically an expander.
Yeah.
So, okay, so he can fit 4 DIMM slots, or 4 DIMMs into a 2 DIMM slot board.
All right.
Got it. I didn't know that existed. That's kind of cool. I might have to grab one of those. So anyway, 7.6 gigahertz is absolutely insane, but when you're dealing with something like liquid helium, it definitely becomes more possible. He used the ASUS ROG Maximus 11 Gene Z390 motherboard with 8 gigs single channel DDR4 memory, and whoa, there's a lot of LN2 smoke going on there. There were other exoseers like Splave and I forget the other guys. There's a bunch of other people. They broke like 16 benchmark records combined.
I believe it's titled Liquid Helium, Kyle.
Oh, sorry. This is the helium. Sorry, helium, whatever. Helium, nitrogen. They're basically the same.
No, they're not.
I'm just trying to trigger
completely different elements.
My goal right now is to just trigger everyone.
Different properties.
Mainly all the chemists in the house. No, okay, so correction. It is liquid helium that he is using.
Yes, liquid helium.
Thank you, Paul. So there were 15 global first-place records in the 8-core category achieved. Obviously, this is the highest clocking 8-core CPU we've seen in a while. And wow, that guy looks. Was that an overclocker? That guy looked like my grandpa almost. It was just interesting to see him like overclocking stuff. And then there's also been a new world record in PC Mark 10 against all other processor categories. So wow, it looks like Der Bauer is getting a hand with his helium. He's got help. I feel like all those guys broke that world record that day.
Lots of people manning the rod.
Yeah, you know, all their hands on
Helium
Roman's rod.
pipe.
So congratulations and job well done, Mr. Roman. Thanks for pushing the limits of this hardware.
I imagine that everyone in this picture, as they're like just talking amongst themselves and discussing things, have high chipmunk voices because of like just
all the helium,
just inhalium,
all the liquid helium,
inhaling
They're
incidental
in
helium. So yeah, that's what I would expect.
spiritually helium.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
I
7.6
mean, literally. It's very cold.
It's freezing. Absolutely chilly. So cool. Moving on though, we've got this issue that Tech Power Up has brought to our attention here about SLI and GSYNC causing frame rate issues. This is interesting. There were some users that noticed performance issues on their SLI systems recently, and
did you just skip one?
No.
Hexus. Oh wait, this is the GPU Z story? You're not talking about that one.
No, this is Google being a dick.
Oh, okay.
I have no idea
Google's
what that
dick,
is.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Never mind. Here we go.
So, Tech Power Up found that okay, so there are some people saying, "Hey, my SLI system is performing under par. It's fucking up." And people found that there seems to be a problem when you have SLI and GSYNC enabled simultaneously. It actually tanks your performance in certain titles, some more than others. Extreme Tech actually confirmed the frame rate drops when both technologies are enabled. And the issue seems related to timing, according to the data, but there's really no clear solution yet. Maybe this could be patched with a driver update. Who knows? No official word from NVIDIA yet. But some titles, like I said, are affected more than others. In The Witcher 3, you go from 113 frames per second down to 75 frames per second with SLI and GSYNC enabled versus not. Or I should say, SLI. It's probably SLI with GSYNC versus SLI without GSYNC. Is what I would assume these results are.
GSYNC disabled, GSYNC enabled.
Right. So 113 to 98, not terrible. Definitely significant, but maybe you wouldn't notice it necessarily. But then Rising Storm 2, for example, 206 frames per second.
Jeez.
Down to 75.
That's horrible.
That's crazy. That's less than half. That's insane.
Yeah.
So the test setup included two GTX 1080s and an Acer XB 280 HK, which supports 4K at 60 Hertz. Made it really easy to tell any kind of discrepancies here between the two configurations. Inconsistent behavior was also found between the games. So in Deus Ex Mankind Divided, the gap appeared only in DirectX 11 mode. In Far Cry 5, the penalty size actually increased as the frame rate had risen.
Got bigger.
So in Hitman's results were even more confusing. So it's really kind of hard to say or predict how this weird phenomenon is going to affect your game because it depends on the game. But it is a problem, and there's no solution right now, and NVIDIA has said nothing. Apparently, the issue seems isolated to anything before Turing. So Turing doesn't seem to have an issue with this, which is why their test system was using 1080s on Pascal.
It's just another underhanded, sneaky technique for NVIDIA to try to get people to buy the latest generation of graphics cards.
I'll take the,
It goes right along with them forking the performance of older cards with updated drivers. It's rampant these days.
This is true. Apparently, this isn't really a new issue, though.
That's not true, actually.
Oh, okay.
Should clarify that.
There's
Or
also
at least
been
it hasn't been
posts.
true thus far.
It is now that you said it. No.
But now some people exited the video right after I said that, and they believe that 100% now.
Good job, Paul. So Tom's Hardware has already. There's actually forum posts on Tom's Hardware dating back to 2016, about a year and a half to 2 years ago, regarding this issue. So apparently this isn't something super recent. People have experiencing this for a while now. It's just now being brought to attention on a bigger scale, and hopefully now that it has, NVIDIA will do something about it, because that's no good. You know, you usually SLI and GSYNC are technologies that are reserved for like people who are willing to pay out the ass, right, and who want the greatest experience possible. And it's kind of ironic that those are the technologies that are actually hurting performance in certain scenarios. So hopefully that gets ironed out. The more you know. There you go. Maybe it's also a sign that you should just stick with a single card.
Yeah, I mean,
just buy a
anytime
single
we're
card.
talking about SLI and
You don't have to
we're
deal
like,
with it.
and people are like, oh, I'm considering SLI this versus a single this. We're usually like, yeah, get the single card because stuff like this.
Like when I like build crazy custom water cooled systems, I only do SLI because it looks more badass.
Yeah,
With having two cards in there.
It's purely visual thing.
Purely visual, it's just like I've got the bigger cock. But you know what? Even if the cock doesn't perform as well as the smaller cock, it still looks more impressive to the naked eye. Pun intended. So, yeah, I guess SLI is sort of the same way. Moving on here, ASUS and their Z390 motherboards have been recently found to push software into your Windows installations. This was discovered by Tech PowerUp once again. During their testing, they noticed that their
discovered by
ASUS,
me as well.
And Paul, oh yeah, thank you by the way for sharing these articles with me. I did not have much time to prepare for my show.
This one I think you found yourself.
Oh, did I?
Maybe.
Oh, okay. But I forgot to thank you
I'm-
for scouting some of the other articles.
Oh
for today.
yes, no problem. I'm just saying I also experienced this.
Oh, did you?
Because I used one of these ASUS motherboards and I saw this. But I tweeted about this with the last generation. One of the other ASUS motherboards that popped up.
Okay.
But yeah, basically clean, fresh Windows installation with nothing else going on.
Mhm.
You got an ASUS motherboard. You plug into Windows. And you get this pop-up that says, ASUS Armory Crate Driver Auto Update Manager. Would you like to download and install the ASUS Armory Crate Driver Manager? ASUS Armory Crate is a service that helps you manage and download the latest driver updates.
Yeah.
It's ASUS bloatware that, like, you know, I don't know.
It can be handy.
Some people might find it useful to have
It can be handy.
in the background. Apparently, there is an actual BIOS setting
There's a BIOS setting
that you can change.
Right.
That will make that not pop up.
This correlates to a piece of script that will actually install certain files into your System32 folder without your permission.
So it's you don't even need to connect to the internet. It's like
Nope.
The motherboard does it.
Yes.
That's garbage.
Yeah. So
annoying.
it's kind of sketchy. I feel like, you know, whether or not this ASUS Armory software or program is good or bad is like an irrelevant question in all this. It's more so how it's being rolled out to users, and the fact that this setting in the UEFI, which is also kind of obscure and kind of hard to find, it's like within the tools category. The fact that it's enabled by default, I think, is a bit controversial. Give users the option and disable it initially, and maybe have something on the home page or on the home screen of the desktop that says, hey, if you want this option, you can enable it in the UEFI. Here's how to do it. They could have taken a much better approach to this, even if whether the software is good or bad. It's just a matter of how they've delivered it to users, kind of slipped it under their noses. And the fact that this setting that's automatically enabled when you buy the board is installing files to your System32 folder without any sort of user interference, without any sort of permissions, because it overwrites all the administrative rights and permissions you know, it's by the time you install this motherboard and boot it up for the very first time, all these files are installed, and it's tapping into your registry and all that. So it's a little bit invasive, and this type of behavior is not uncommon on OEM builds and like laptops, for example. We've seen this as a prime example is like I think Lenovo with like Superfish and shit like that. Now, obviously, that was a really bad piece of bloatware. That was it was a rootkit and stuff like that. But the fact of the matter is, when you're building your own PC, I think there's more of an expectation of having greater control over what's on your system, right? That's kind of part of the reason why we do it ourselves sometimes. So I feel like it's, I don't think ASUS meant any harm by this. I think they're just trying to roll out software that they genuinely think users can benefit from.
ASUS develops companion software that goes with their hardware, their motherboards, and their graphics cards, and they put a lot of work into it, I think.
Yeah.
Some people see it as helpful and useful. Other people see it as something that's going to use up system resources and pop up and prompt you to do an update when you had no interest in doing anything like that. So for some people, yeah, maybe it's useful. But I think ASUS approached this with the idea that we need to get this software that we invest our time developing rolled out to more users. Well, let's create this way that it'll just automatically get installed just like Windows, just like a Windows update or something like that.
Right.
And I don't know. Personally, I don't like it at all.
Yeah, definitely not. Absolutely not. I don't mind if they leave it disabled on boot by default. That's fine. But don't enable certain permissions to install files to my System32 folder on my very first boot. I don't like that at all. And also, there's issues with cybersecurity here, because if there can be any sort of vulnerabilities that can be exploited, there's little way to fix it but with BIOS updates from ASUS themselves. So there's a whole security issue here too, that again, you're being, unbeknownst to you, or you're being signed up for from the get-go. So yeah, it seems pretty innocuous on ASUS's part. They just need, I think their rollout plan here needs some tweaking, some serious tweaking. So it needs ASUS tweak, and more transparency for the user. Exactly what you're signing up for when you boot up an ASUS motherboard. So yeah, I'll continue to be a supporter of ASUS boards. I just hope that they learn from this little finding, and we can move on.
ASUS, if you're looking for user feedback on this, we don't like it.
We don't like it.
Don't do it.
You've heard it.
Stop it.
You heard it first here. Well, second here. First at Tech Power Up, and then us. All right, moving on.
I'm trying to find when I tweeted about, because I tweeted about it with one of their last gen boards, and it was a while back though.
So Z370.
Maybe it might even have been an AMD board. I can't find it. Oh, look, there's Hero.
You posted a picture?
Look, guys, there's Hero.
Aww.
How happy he is.
You should just bring him to the office.
You want me to bring him here?
Yeah.
Oh. I mean,
how would he be if you brought him here into like some place he didn't, but you were here?
He'd be okay.
He'd be fine.
He's
He'd just
very
chill.
He's very chill. Like,
yeah.
The only thing he gets upset by is being separated. Like he doesn't like being by himself.
Separation anxiety.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have a bring your dog to work day. Here at my office.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. All right, let's move on. We've got one more article to talk about before Pimp My PC. Samsung has filed a patent on full display fingerprint sensors for notchless, bezel-free next-gen Galaxy phones. This is from Hot Hardware. Thanks, Hot Hardware. The patent describes the technology for embedding a fingerprint sensor into the entire display, meaning that you could just put your thumb anywhere on the display, on the screen, and it'll unlock or give you, authorization for whatever apps that utilize this function.
That's a good idea.
Which is pretty cool. I mean, that would essentially remove the need for having a pesky sensor on the back of your phone.
You could put your thumb here.
Which is crazy how quickly things are advancing here, because...
Or you could put your thumb here.
Or here. Or here. That's going to be the keynote. It's gonna be like, you could put your thumb...
Or you could put your thumb here.
Or here. You pull your phone out of your pocket and it's upside down by accident. You can put your thumb here. So I think it's pretty cool. It's crazy how fast things are advancing. At first, the fingerprint sensors were at the bottom of your phone, on the front of your phone. And it was like, it's old news. It's not ergonomic. Put it on the back. Put it on the center back of your phone. Oh my God, it's amazing. And then 2 years later, it seems like that's old shit. Just make it anywhere on the screen. And it seems like a little thing, but it's not, because when you're unlocking your phone 50 times a day, convenience in that sense, the user experience really goes a long way. So they've created a patent. They made a patent for this, and it's going to change everything. This is also an alternative to facial recognition, which I'm not a huge fan of. Actually, I'm not a fan of at all. I would never enable that feature.
I saw Austin tweeting that like his facial recognition on his phone just stopped working.
Yeah.
So he had to.
I would at least never have it as
So you're just screwed. You're just like, nope, your phone doesn't recognize you anymore.
I'd never have it even as a or at least as a exclusive option. Like if I did enable it, who knows? Maybe I'll enable it one day, but I would never have it as the sole authenticator.
Seems like there should be a backup.
What happens if you're like in the pitch black dark and you need to unlock your phone? Like shit like that. Anyway, there's a whole mess of issues besides that. But anyway, it's kind of cool. You can use your phone. You can use your thumb anywhere. To pull this off, Samsung plans to embed the sensor, the fingerprint sensor, into the actual display layer. And this would be powered by a second lower processor. So very, very low. It wouldn't drain battery much. The display would essentially go temporarily into high brightness mode with 3 different scans taking place. The main concern here is how long it'll take to register a full scan. Because according to the patent, it'll take 60 to 90 milliseconds for all 3 scans, but the processor...
Found it.
There it is. What is ASUS Grid Driver Auto Update Manager, and how is it suddenly appearing with this pop-up on a completely clean Windows 10 installation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the predecessor to the Armory Crate.
Do you know what platform this was? Can you tell?
I don't...
Does this picture conjure up any memories?
Yes, I don't.
I'm curious if it's on
building there. It might have been one of the Ryzen motherboards.
Okay, so this is something they're rolling out on both sides. Interesting.
But they did have an exit and never remind me again option.
But see, that doesn't matter. Because even if you never remind me, like according to the article that I was reading today, if you reboot, it resets all that shit. And so everything starts all over. So even if you were to delete it from your system, this script, because it's in the UEFI, will just boot all over again.
That sucks.
And so the only way to really get rid of it is to disable it within the UEFI, which most users seeing a pop-up like this on a fresh, clean install, they're not going to think, oh, it's just some setting on the UEFI I have to disable. So it's very not transparent right now, ASUS.
You all shut up about the HTPC. I'm gonna...
Was that what this is on?
No, because I scrolled down.
You just incriminated yourself.
Look
at how long Paul had to scroll for years just to get to his last HTPC video, which he still hasn't done the follow-up to.
What's the date on this?
One day we will have justice.
Wow. Oh my gosh, it's been well over a year.
Oh my god, it's been well over a year. Part 1.
Never mind.
Just delete the part 1.
This is part 1 and then everything's fine. Okay.
Oh, right.
Anyway.
Right in chat. Anyway.
This page doesn't exist.
So, this is cool. Anyway, you know, the processor that handles this brightness adjustment for the fingerprint scanner would need 200 to 300 milliseconds in between each of these brightness scans to adjust the brightness, totaling 700 milliseconds. Okay. 700 milliseconds is a long time to wait, but hopefully Samsung can pull this off. We'll most likely see this technology introduced into the next Galaxy phone, which would be what, Samsung Galaxy S10? I don't know. Also, Samsung will probably continue their quest for a fully bezel-free phone, which means no notch. Their Galaxy 9 and their Galaxy Note 9 or whatever did not have notches. Neither of them had notches, which I'm a huge fan of. Just a straight black bar across. I'd rather take like just a slim top bar, black bar at the top, which is why if I upgrade to a Pixel 3, I am still once again going with a non-XL model because I just despise the notch that much. I'm not a very opinionated person. I don't have many opinions, which is sometimes like shitty. But I have really strong opinions about the notch, and I can't stand it. I can't do it, man. I can't do it. I don't know why I'm talking about notches.
What about the teardrop?
What is is that like a mini notch where it's just
so instead of a notch, it's just one little bloop for like a camera lens.
I feel like that's even worse.
What about
That's even worse.
What about a circle where a notch would be, but like actually separated from the edge? Just a circle with the lens in it.
Why not just make? Do you see how small cameras are? Front-facing cameras are on phones. Like, just make the bezel 3 millimeters. Who's gonna be like?
Then it's got a
thick.
Then it's got
Damn,
a bezel.
that's thick.
And Marquez and all the phone reviewers would be like,
No.
it's got a bezel.
No.
I can't even look at this phone. It's got a bezel. It's disgusting. Get
much-
it out of my face.
The bezel.
The bezel.
The 3 millimeter bezel will at least be a lot less noticeable than the teardrop. It looks like a big piece of shit's on your screen all the time. And
No,
that
I
shit.
agree
Granted,
with you. I don't like the notch either.
it just gets me so fired up. You know, and it's only a thing because Apple.
Significant point of contention.
It's only a thing because Apple kicked it off, and now it's like everyone needs a notch because the iPhone X has a notch now.
I don't like how many manufacturers jump on and copy Apple with stuff like ditching the headphone jack. Like that irritates me.
Yeah, right. Like that's like removing feature because when Apple does something, even when that something is removing a feature, it's suddenly trendy.
Mm-hmm.
That's a trend now. Oh, it's trendy to remove a feature that users have grown to be accustomed to and love over the years and actually utilize. Apple did it, so it's not bad, it's good. Anything Apple does is good. It's that mentality that I can't stand because then you're right, it trickles down to everyone else. The competitors who we rely on to be different than Apple are now copying the thing that the company that we're not necessarily our first pick. So, I don't know. That's the last story I have. Let's move on to Pimp My PC.
Pimp My PC.
You guys have tweeted in pictures of your dilapidated, outdated, and just all around scandalous
we need to
rigs.
Update your lower thirds.
We do. Yeah, there's many things.
I
we
like
need
the
to
Pimp
update
My
about
PC,
this.
the lower thirds you made that's at my house.
I know. Oh, maybe you should just next time I come over your place, I'll bring a USB drive. Oh, really quick.
Yo,
That's my father-in-law.
Rod.
That's my father-in-law.
What up, Rod?
Really quick, he texted me earlier today. I didn't get back to him. He said, on a scale of 1 to 10, really quick, how much does Paul love his Tesla Powerwall? Because I think he might be considering getting one. So since he's here in chat,
How much does I love it?
how much does you love the Powerwall?
I'm
1 to 10.
I'm thoroughly happy with my decision thus far.
Thoroughly happy. That's pretty good.
My
Give that a 9.
my power bills, and this is another promised video that I am still working on and I will produce because I want to have a kind of a wholesome look at the entire process from signing up to it to getting it installed to like afterwards. And I need more datas. I need more time, more electric bills to come in. But yeah,
Are you planning to make a benchmark video of your Powerwall? I think that would be super cool.
like you can't really benchmark it because it's just there and it just runs and does its thing. It's affected by how much power you use. It's affected by how much sunlight there is and whether there's any cloud cover.
Sure.
So
It'd be a very dynamic type of review.
so it's
sure.
You can't exactly do that. I for some reason a bunch of people keep saying like when we were doing the overclocking competition, they're like, can you plug into your Powerwall to like give more power
Like
to
it's
the
answer to
computer? I'm like, no,
to limitless-
that's not how it
limitless
works
energy.
at all. It's still 120 volts coming to all my plugs.
Right,
Like
yeah.
that doesn't affect
Yeah.
that. And even if it did, it would just break the computer if
Yeah.
if I did
It can't
that.
handle the heat.
I mean, I guess switching power supplies, it could probably handle up to 220. But anyway, point being,
Thoroughly impressed though. Thoroughly
yeah,
happy
I've
with
been
it
very
so
happy
far.
with it. I'm saving
That's
probably $150 a month plus so far.
And is that like in the summer time or is that just in general?
That's
like
in the
sort of an
past
average?
like 3 months, which is all the time I've had to look at it so far. So.
Right.
But yeah, a very nice drop, and you know, I'm pretty confident at this point that it'll probably pay for itself within about 10 years,
Yeah.
give or take. And everything in there is like it has at least a 10-year warranty, and a lot of the stuff is 15 or 20 years, I think.
You know, I have an interesting question, really quick, sort of on, but I digress. Sorry, Jay. Can you can? I would assume that you could move your Powerwall to a different house if you were to ever move in the next 10 years. You can take it with you, or is it permanently tied once it's installed?
You could probably. I mean, I don't know how practical that would be. Like, I'm not intending to do that. My thought.
Oh
is
yeah, I'm just
it's
hypothetically.
attached to the house and.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a bracket. They attach the bracket to the wall and then they mount it to that. So it could be removed from that. So
sure.
I mean, I'm sure that's possible, but.
I wonder if it also ups the resale value of your house at all.
I would hope it does.
Right.
But I don't know.
I mean, that's quite an investment.
I'm not sure. I have to come and have them do a reassessment of my home value for that.
Well, cool. Thanks for shedding light on that.
Yeah.
All right.
I can.
Let's move on to Pimp My PC. Starting with YiJoe. Sorry, if Lyle was here, he'd be able to pronounce your name flawlessly.
The link you put didn't work, so I had to go straight to his his YouTube or his Twitter page.
His Twitter?
He has a picture of Linus.
That's not creepy.
Okay. Here's the computer though.
All right, there
right?
she blows.
That's what you.
Yes, that
wanted
looks
us
like
to
it.
Look at?
Yeah. So oh yeah, the link does not work. Maybe he deleted his tweet and does not no longer wants to be featured.
But this is here.
Yeah, that's true. That's weird.
I don't know.
Maybe I fucked up on copying the link or whatever. Oh, Cell's doing stuff on
an AMD X4 760K. That's an older AMD processor.
Yikes.
A 1 terabyte WD hard drive and a 125 gig ADATA SSD, Kingston Hyperfury 2x4 gig RAM kit, and an R7 370 4 gig graphics card. R7
370. What?
Oh wow. What?
Is it what? 370?
Not 100% sure. I just remember it being made by Sapphire and being 4 gigs. Yeah, I don't think that's exactly accurate. Maybe a RX 470? Is that a
Radeon R7?
Right. Now, why? It appears to be on a bed, which is a little weird, and it also appears to be sitting on top of some earbuds. Right? Those are earbuds?
Yeah, those earbuds are going to impede airflow, for sure.
We have some just about the most horrible cable management that you could possibly have. Exacerbated by the fact that it's probably a pretty budget power supply with no aesthetic consideration when it comes to the cables at all.
So much dust, too. That power supply looks gray.
Very, very dusty. Memory kit, while functional, is completely in contrast with anything remotely resembling a color scheme in the case.
Least of his worries, though.
There's ketchup and mustard everywhere. There's I mean, CPU heatsink fans they're generally functional when you have it this direction, but I still always feel like it's awkward. I would want it rotated.
Where do you live? Because if you live, I don't care where you live.
People were
ship me
saying this looks like it's a Sarlacc pit or something. That it's
ship me your computer. I'll pimp it out for you.
Yeah.
Seriously.
There's also these 2 extra fans here next to the hard drive cages, which they just look loud. Those look loud. Those fans look loud.
They just look. I can see the noise.
I can see how loud those fans are.
I can see the noise.
All right, so you've got a functional computer. Congratulations. When it comes to aesthetics, I don't think there's anything that we can tell you.
You have to change the whole computer.
It's a complete loss.
And you should probably upgrade your platform anyway before anything aesthetic.
Yeah. There's no need to work on the aesthetics at this point.
You're a lost cause.
We do thank you for your submission.
You've officially broken Paul and Kyle.
Yeah. Let's move on.
X28 Assassin. ASUS Maximus 5 Formula Intel i7 3770K.
Nice.
I saw 3770K on a license plate the other day. I tweeted it. You can check it out.
Oh.
True story. EVGA GTX 780 Superclock. Corsair Dominator Platts 2x8 gig sticks at 1600. And looks like we've got a Corsair Obsidian 550D. He likes the D, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So for starters, you have a really nice motherboard, a pretty nice graphics card, and a stock Intel CPU cooler.
Stock CPU cooler.
Mr. Assassin, what are you thinking? On that
These are like-
3770K.
These are Dominator Platinum memory like
Sticks.
the kit, right? That's an expensive high-end memory kit. You pay a lot of extra money for
You
that over a comparable.
You do. Are they in the right
Level is-
slots?
Oftentimes it doesn't matter. Usually it would be the two red slots here that the memory would go on. Usually ASUS has you populate the outer slots first, but often it doesn't really matter. As long as they're in every other slot, it'll still be dual channel.
Still bothers me.
Yeah, I agree. I would position them in the outer slots to make room for the epic upgraded CPU cooler that you install.
There you go.
Right?
Yep.
Beyond that, I mean, you got all black cables. Things are looking a little loose and sloppy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not horrible by any stretch, especially compared to the last video, or the last.
True.
video that we
Anything
looked at.
looks great compared to that.
But anything you can do to take these little just loose cables that are kind of lazily going to their sources and just cinch them down, tie them down, wrangle them a little bit. But honestly, it's mainly that CPU cooler. Like swaps that out.
CPU cooler and like tidy up cable management, and if you wanted to spend the money, like black and red extensions
Oh sure.
would do wonders for this build.
Yeah, that would look.
As nice as these Corsair AX cables are.
If you do go that far, then I would also recommend delabeling your power supply because your gold accents here from the AX750 aren't doing you any favors.
Yeah, PSU delete.
Thank you for your submission, though.
Thanks, brah.
And next up is Montes with a Dark Base Pro 900
Ooh.
case.
Ooh, I
AMD
like that
Threadripper
case.
1950X.
Ooh, Threadripper.
NMX Tech 360 TR4. The EVGA GTX 1080 Ti for the win. 32 gigs of G-Skill Flare X memory. 3200 Castlade Z14.
This system's a beast.
ASUS Zenith Extreme X399.
What a beast.
All right, so
Great specs.
here's the deal. I'm slightly concerned about your cooler.
Because it's stretched?
No, because the original version of the Enermax Liquitech is prone to failure.
Oh.
So much so that
Do they have a recall?
They made a successor to it. If you look at the Amazon reviews, for example, they're not so hot.
Oh.
There's a Liquitech TR4
And TR4 2.
2
Right.
right here.
I have
that they've
two of those.
updated. So, and
Right.
I bring this up because it was enough that people were like, "Hey,
There's
the
something
TR4
seriously
2,
wrong
they
here.
they had to come out with an updated new version of it." So
Ah.
that's just something I'd point out. And granted, when it comes to failure rates with hardware,
AOs.
you could be talking about just a slightly higher failure rate than normal, which is enough for them to do something about it. Yours could be fine, but it's just something I would be aware of.
So what was the main issue? Was the pump was dying?
I think it might have been the pump. Honestly, I don't recall specifically.
Okay.
Yeah, I just know the TR42 was created to replace it.
Gotcha.
So yeah, but beyond that, let's get back to aesthetics here. All right, so we have a Noctua situation with Noctua fans,
The
which
Noctua
we're always
situation.
so torn about because they're really good fans. So we're in no position to tell you to replace them.
But they ugly as hell.
But they're not pretty.
But they ugly.
They don't match.
They have. There's no excuse nowadays. They have black, beautiful black fans.
They don't have black versions of their.
They have.
the NFF 12X25s though.
They have comparable fans that are killer performers, better than most you can find on the market, that are black and color neutral, and don't look like someone vomited
So yes,
a brownie
they
in your
have,
system.
They have Chromax series. They have Industrial series fans that aren't this color.
Consider it.
That would look a lot prettier. I'm imagining these are just NFF 12s. They're newest fans. They have not created other colors of. So if that's what you're using here, then you can't get better than that at this point. So, but if these are the older versions, then yes, you could swap them out for the, I believe either the Chromax or the Industrial versions, and at least get gray and black or all black, and that would look a lot prettier.
Would.
I find it interesting that you have a mostly push configuration on the radiator with a single pole fan.
He's probably trying to direct more airflow to his GPU,
Yeah, it could be.
which may help a bit.
It's okay. it stands out a little bit to me, but I don't hate it or anything.
Right. Why does that top drive look like it's in a box? What's going on? Yeah.
I think that's just
Is
the.
that-
No, this case has. Have you worked with the 900D or the not 900D, the 9
Yeah, it is the 900D.
Dark Base Pro
900.
900?
Right.
So it's got these cages that
Right.
mount to the back plate, and they kind of completely surround the drive.
But
So,
they have a barcode on the front of every cage?
I think it's just open right here, and that's the front of the drive.
Oh.
'Cause hard drives often have barcodes on them for enterprise environments, so you can scan the barcode.
I see. It just doesn't look like the front of a drive. It
Yeah,
usually
I think it's just a weird
weird
housing
angle
I've
and
never seen
lighting.
before,
Okay.
something. But
All right. Fair enough.
yeah, beyond that, I don't know. There's a little bit of a bunched up of cables down at the bottom that could look prettier too, but everything else is pretty clean and tidy. I don't know. This little loop of cable, clean that
Tighten
up.
that up.
Rotate the fan, make it come up at the top there.
Sleeved cables,
Up that way.
PSU sticker delete. You're good to go.
Yeah. Solid advice. Okay.
Good airflow.
Next up, Brent.
Brent.
Ooh, a Xeon build.
Son of
An
a-
X5675, overclocked to 4.5 gigahertz. ASUS P6T X58 LGA 1366 motherboard. 12 gigs of G.Skill DDR3 1600 megahertz RAM. 2 gigs per DIMM by 6 in triple channel configuration. Gigabyte GeForce GTX 960 4 meg graphics card, a CryoRig H5 cooler, WD 250 gig hard drive, 3 terabyte hard drive, Seasonic power supply, Cooler Master MB5 case. Yeah.
Master box.
Oh, Master Box. Yeah. And a Blackmagic Mini recorder. Oh, a capture card in there.
Okay, so first thing I'll say is that the blue heat sinks on your motherboard clash with the red DIMMs on your heat spreaders, or the red heat spreaders on your DIMMs. I think
Yeah.
it's probably easier to spray paint the blue accents on your motherboard red than it would be to spray paint your DIMMs blue.
I disagree.
Really?
Well, the memory, he could just pull the memory out and do a little mod on it. For the motherboard, you'd have to pull the whole motherboard out of there.
Sure. Yeah. But you only have one motherboard to deal with instead of 6 DIMMs.
All right. Well, either way,
Either way,
either paint all your memory blue to match the heat sink there,
pick your poison.
or paint your heat sink red to match your memory DIMMs,
Sure.
and probably all right. So to further your point, painting this red would also match some of the ports and stuff on the motherboard elsewhere.
True.
So
Maybe
that'd
red's the
probably
color.
be a little bit cleaner overall.
Yeah.
Although then you have like a blue PCI Express slot, so
You can spray paint that too.
you can.
It's doable. It's doable.
All right. I appreciate the multiple views of this system.
Yeah.
I like that. Very, very clean cable management. When it comes to like the thing that we typically talk about the most here,
Looks like he's got a custom
super clean. Like
panel to
like
the right
this
of
is
the
the
motherboard.
least. This is the least irritating I've ever seen ketchup and mustard 24-pin cable be. Right.
Oh yeah.
Somehow,
I didn't even realize.
somehow it's routed around so that you can't even really see the
The sleeve goes
the
really
coloring
high
of
up.
the cables.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So well done there.
Yep.
Yeah. Other than that, it's just a bit of color mismatching going on.
Yeah.
That I can
Looks
pick
great.
out. Not easy to modify. So, feel free to completely ignore us there. I would pull this little blue cap off of your SLI bridge on your graphics card too.
I also don't think
my
he would
favorite.
necessarily need to remove his motherboard from the case to spray paint it, as long as he did a good job covering it up with like newspaper and stuff. He could probably just spray paint.
Yeah,
right on.
I would want to remove that heatsink entirely.
Oh, the heatsink for sure. Yes,
Yeah,
the
to separate
CPU cooler. Yes, but I just
Yeah.
meant yeah.
No, I mean remove the
Oh, the actual heatsink.
heatsink from the motherboard.
Oh, okay. I thought you were
Remove
talking
this
the CPU
piece and
cooler,
have it
sure.
separate so you can
Yeah.
shoot it from all
Which, if
angles
the
and-
CPU cooler cutout for that case is large enough, you might not need to remove the motherboard entirely. If there's screws behind the motherboard to remove
Possibly.
the heatsink.
Okay, let's move on.
Let's see. Is that it?
Metaljaw.
Yeah, we have an
Metaljaw.
honorable mention here, Metaljaw. I thought this was a pretty cool little setup here. that he's got.
Fun.
This is
Two
a dual
systems.
setup. A dual setup that they're both wall mounted, and this is a complete custom sort of pegboard type of thing. These are wooden slabs, and he's provided the spec lists on each of the monitors. I didn't realize those were monitors at first. I thought those were just black backgrounds that he had photoshopped in there.
Oh yeah.
But those are monitors. He's got an ultra wide on the left and a 16:9 on the right, it seems. And the one on the left is a little bit more high-end, 6700K with a GTX 980 Ti. The other one is a Core i5 4570 with the GTX 770. Seems to be an ASUS fan with his motherboard choice on the left. And yeah, and his graphics card choice on the right. So this is a pretty sweet setup. I like the fact that you've got two pretty cool systems side by side, which would be great for like LANing and stuff.
Also for the Horde.
For the Horde, yes, the Horde, the little emblem there, little shield, and the cable management's really clean. I think the cable management really does it for me here. It gives me a big old stiffy.
Yeah.
You know, you've taken extra love and care with this system, and it looks fan-friggin-tastic. So it's also a great way.
The fact that like the power supply on the system on the left is sitting right here, with a cable coming into it and all the other cables coming out that side, and like you can't even see anything.
Right.
So obviously a lot of stuff is being passed behind this board here.
Yep.
So cool.
And the board looks pretty close to the wall too. It doesn't look even like it's that thick. So job well done. Job well freaking done. And that concludes my half of the show.
Yay!
So, thank you very much for tuning in. Don't go anywhere though. We've got an awesome hardware after party.
After party.
About to begin. Paul's gonna play some Overwatch. We're gonna read off donations and shout out some Johnsons to y'all, and just have some fun. So
that's linked in the description. If you missed my half of the show, it's also linked down there. Thank you guys for watching. Hit the thumbs up button.
Thumbs up.
We'll be back next week.
Feel free to do
awesome hardware.
timestamps. I won't hate you if you do timestamps.
We love the timestamp maker.
Yes.
All right. We'll be right back, guys.
See you guys soon.